Catch the JP Peterson Show Monday through Friday at 10 a.m. Eastern. In the meantime, check out the podcast section.
Stand by to launch FanStream Sports.
3, 2, 1. Let's start.
Hello, sports fans. Welcome to FanStream Sports. Nothing but pure sports. This is the JP Show.
JP, it's so good to hear you back on the air.
Stand by. Now, here's JP.
All right, welcome into a Friday edition of the JP Peterson Show. We thank you so much for joining us, whether you're on RHS TV, our new outlet, which you can download on your Amazon Fire. You can download that on, they still have the Amazon Fire Stick. Is that what that is? The Apple TV, Roku, all that stuff. You can watch us on your big, bright television set or on YouTube TV or YouTube or Facebook, Twitter. It's all over the place. We thank you so much for joining us each and every day. We got another great show for you today. We're going to get into a lengthy conversation that Rob Manfred had with Mark Topkin at the Tampa Bay Times about the stadium situation, which I thought was very illuminating. We'll get into some more Bucs news as well and things that are happening around the league. Eric Bieniemy looks like he's headed to Washington, but Todd Bowles put out a statement on his new offensive coordinator, Dave Canales. So we'll get into some of that as well. We got a couple guests coming on today. Rick Hatcher from the Florida Sports Hall of Fame, former FSU and Major League Baseball pitcher, will join us. They've got an event coming up, and we'll talk some baseball with him about the new rules being implemented into baseball. Paul Wilson, our entertainment reporter, will join us as well. He got to see Ant-Man last night, as did you, right? You went to see Ant-Man last night.
I was all on board to see Quantumania last night.
Quantumania.
Full on,
baby.
Full on nerding it out, man.
Well done. We got some Lightning news we'll talk about with Cal Foot possibly being on the trading block, and lots of other news around some interesting stories, some interesting DeMar Hamlin sound that we will get to.
Tiger Woods played competitive golf again yesterday.
Tiger Woods was really good.
So
I watched a lot of that yesterday. Instead of going to Quantumania,
come on now.
I watched Tiger Woods play golf. Call me crazy.
I think I had a bit more fun watching Quantumania, but that's just me.
I don't know about that,
but to your point, you lined up the show there.
To each his own.
Even though it's a sad day today because it's the first official non-football Friday of the year, or at least in the last 6-7 months, which is very sad.
That's why it felt so different today. Coming in.
Right? It does. But at the same time, still a lot going on, man. Train keeps rolling.
Yeah, we got so many great stories to get to. So, and that's the good thing about non-football season. It does allow us to highlight other sports that I really do love, because it seems like football season is just all consuming. It's just all football.
Even right now, like we have like a 2-week, 3-week break, and then we're right in the middle of free agency.
Yeah, combine.
And then you're kind of you're digesting that draft. Then before you know it, it's June, and then we're here.
But I think out of season, even though there's always football news, it does allow you to breathe a little bit and look at some other scores. Go watch golf. Go watch. Here comes baseball season.
Yeah.
Obviously, we're going to be following our race. The Lightning take center stage.
Yeah.
I think this is the Lightning's time between, February to, like basically for them, June, because they've gone on such runs. So for us here, a lot of focus is going to be on the Tampa Bay Lightning. And then, college football, spring football, as, Florida State has now emerged as a contender again.
Yeah, and maybe even though we haven't been as into college basketball this year, I think once the tournament comes, we're going to be a little bit more invested. We always are.
Yeah, a little bit.
And we'll get into that.
I've watched a little bit of college basketball lately.
As long as we get Coach Z on, I'll be invested.
Yeah, right.
Okay, he can sell it like nobody's business.
He really can't. He really can't. But I tried to watch. Who was it? A really good game the other day. It was Duke and Virginia, I think. And just I just don't know the players. I don't know. It's just not doing it for me anymore. I used to be such a huge basketball, and a big part of it is Florida State is not good this year. Florida State's terrible. So I'm not watching, I would be watching every team that Florida State's playing, and I'm really not even interested in watching.
You're not into the 6-20.
No.
6-20 ball club.
No, not really. It's not getting me going, unfortunately. So, I mean, and that's part of it too, but I don't know. I think they've ruined college basketball for the most part. It's just most of the talent is in the NBA.
I honestly might be more invested in college baseball, which actually starts tonight.
Really?
Tonight at least UCF plays tonight, which I'm actually excited for this year. So I'm more of a baseball guy than basketball when it comes to college.
Yeah,
that's kind of interesting, but I enjoy it a lot.
College baseball, I tell you what, it is a great atmosphere when you go to games.
Yeah,
it really is. I mean, they're packed houses mostly. They're intimate venues. They're outside, and this time of year, it's great to be outside watching baseball. So yeah, when I went to Florida State and I lived in Tallahassee, I mean, Dick Howser Stadium was basically like a pro franchise. I mean, every night they played, it was, even during the week, there was a good crowd. And on the weekends, it was packed solid. You couldn't get in there. You're talking, 5,000 to 8,000 people.
And that's a team you never have to worry about the quality of baseball that you're watching.
Yeah.
So,
and the facilities are great.
Yeah.
I mean, these these ball yards that these colleges play in now are like super steroided minor league ballparks. And they're just really, really fun. And it really gets you back to the intimacy of baseball when you're up that close. It can really get a feel for hear the game, feel it. It's some places smell it. It's cool. So but again, it's hard to find time to fit that one in. College baseball.
Oh yeah, it's definitely one of those. Wednesday night, Lightning aren't playing. Maybe the Rays are putting you to sleep a little bit with their offense potentially, and you kind of just turn on a college baseball game.
Yeah,
it's one of those sometimes for a lot of people.
And it's never short of scoring. That's for
never short of entertainment.
Yeah, absolutely. And by the way, we've got a couple of great venues here. USF's baseball stadium is beautiful, and they do a really, really good job. It's always entertaining to go watch a baseball game there. University of Tampa, same thing. Beautiful, beautiful yard downtown. With the skyline in the background, just an intimate ballpark. They put a lot of people in there. Great baseball. I mean, really high quality baseball. So I encourage you to go out and watch the college teams. And go to Jesuit or Tampa. I mean, so these local Berkeley, these high school baseball stadiums are ridiculous.
I mean, because it's in my family, I'm always going to plug it. If you have time during the spring break this year, the Saladino tournament is back.
Absolutely. They play that at UT.
Yeah. It's my family, so I'm always going to take an opportunity to plug that because I think it's great. And there's always big leaguers there every single year.
Yeah. Oh,
every single year.
Yeah. They go to watch. Well, a lot of the big leaguers work out at UT.
Yeah.
And they're involved in the high schools and in the UT program. So they go out and watch these coaches that they know and the players.
Yeah. And that's a great tournament. Like, depending on the access you can get really close and see these guys who are like the best of the best. And then you have good stories to tell. Like, I got to sit and have lunch with Jose Fernandez when he was a senior at Alonzo.
How about that?
In 2012. He was like the star of the show, won the home run derby. Little did I know this guy was going to get drafted the following year in the first round.
Yeah.
And,
the list of alumni.
The list of alumni is crazy.
Tournament is ridiculous.
So,
yeah, I mean, every player that's come through the Tampa Bay area that's in the major leagues has played the Saladino tournament.
And I didn't mean to make this transition, but it's funny I bring it up as I talk about the culture of baseball in Tampa.
Yeah.
Segues into our next discussion here.
It's big time. It's the most laughable thing you'll ever hear when people say, "Oh, Tampa Bay, that's not a baseball city." It's like you could not be further from the truth. I mean, there are baseball fields everywhere in Tampa. Tampa Bay in general produces more Major League Baseball players per capita than just about any 7-county region that you'll find anywhere in America. The level, I mean, UT has won 6 or 7 national championships. USF has not been as good for whatever reason, but
they were fun a couple years ago.
They always have a good program. They haven't necessarily, eclipsed Florida State, or Miami, but it's tough sledding in this state, right? But they've always had a good program. I mean, UT, Stetson. I mean, everywhere you look, there's just quality baseball. And look at all the major leaguers, the high schools, and all. It is so woven into the fabric of Tampa Bay. It's crazy. And I would say, not that I hate pitting areas against each other, but Pinellas County has great baseball as well. The Seminole High School, some of the other high schools over there that have been perennial, really good baseball teams. So it's everywhere in this community. It's part of the fabric, and people love baseball here. It's just we've had bad ownership, and that's the reason we don't have a stadium, and that's the reason our attendance has been down. The TV ratings have always been good for the Rays, and yesterday, as we segue into our top story here, the Rays, Rob Manfred had a lengthy conversation with Mark Topkin, and from his article that he published yesterday. I think there's a lot of important quotes in here. And first and foremost, because most people just read the headlines, and we told you this weeks ago when the St. Petersburg City Council or the mayor, Ken Welch, picked the Rays development team with Hines, that this was not decided, that this was not definitely the Rays are going to build in St. Petersburg. It is still very much an open competition, if you want to put it that way, or an open question. And yesterday, Rob Manfred reiterated that from the Topkin story. But Manfred told the Tampa Bay Times Thursday he doesn't necessarily consider the downtown St. Petersburg site the only option to keep the team in the Tampa Bay market. Quote, "I really don't. I think that there are other possible locations that can be explored, and I remain committed to the Tampa Bay region as a solution for us." Okay, they're not leaving the market. We have told you this for a decade. Everybody keeps talking about Nashville and Charlotte and Vegas and all these other places. They're not leaving the market. Major League Baseball is not that stupid. Many of their national TV contracts absolutely have to have a top 11 market in them. Okay, which we are, or it's going to cost the other owners a lot of money. That's just the tip of the iceberg in terms of why the other owners are not going to let Stu Sternberg relocate. And remember, the other owners have to vote to allow that by a substantial majority, and that is not going to happen. So for all you people who keep putting it on Twitter, they're going to Nashville, they're going to Charlotte, they're not leaving the market, okay? I don't know how many times we got to say this, but they're not leaving the market. We continue. As excited as the Rays were when Welch chose their group, team officials said that at the time they would continue talks with Tampa officials, which I think is just hilarious, as well about the potential for a stadium there until a deal in St. Petersburg is finalized. I want to get to more of the Manfred quotes here. But at least for now, the Tropicana Field site, as also known as the historic gas plant district, is the only known active option. That's not true. I don't know why Mark would put that in there, but you'll hear from Ken Hagan in a little bit that is not the only known active option. I guess that depends on how you define only known active option. I would say if the Rays are actively talking to the city of Tampa or the Hillsborough County, that would make that an active option, would it not be? If they're actually having meetings with another municipality, I would say that's an active option. Of course, it's an active option. So I don't know why we would put that there, but whatever. And he says it will be the only one. No, it's not. Manfred did not say Thursday what the other possible locations were or indicate that anything was in the works. I think we know what the other possible locations are. It's called Ybor City. He said, quote, "I think the decision by the city is a significant step forward in terms of identifying a location where a stadium could be built," Manfred told the Times. "There's a lot that still needs to be done. Primary is funding." This is Topkin writing this. The projected $1.2 billion stadium cost, with the plan expected to include contributions from the team, the city, and Pinellas County. Quote from Manfred, "Public funding is a big piece of it. It's the largest single hurdle." Article continues. "Discussions are expected to start soon between the team and the city on how to negotiate the terms. The Rays are pushing for a quick timetable as their current lease expires after the 27th season." Welch said that after the January 30th announcement that he wanted to first negotiate an agreement for the stadium, then the rest of the 86-acre project that will include housing, hotels, entertainment venues, similar to the successful Battery area in Atlanta the Braves have around their stadium. Rays officials said they want to work out the agreement all at once before committing to the stadium. All the surrounding elements will be an essential factor in the overall project. So there you see a discord already between the city and the Rays. The Rays want to have the whole enchilada worked out, whereas Mayor Welch, rightfully so, wants to pin the Rays down to how much money they're going to put into the stadium before he moves ahead with the bigger project. And of course, that will always be where the rubber meets the road. And it's my opinion that Mayor Welch will find out what Bill Foster found out, what Rick Kreisman found out, what everybody that has dealt with the Rays has found out over the past 10 years, that they do not negotiate in good faith, and everything that they're telling you now is probably not true. That's been the history of this entire negotiation, so we'll see where it goes from here. This is from Manfred. Quote, I think Atlanta proved that the battery-type development can be a tremendous engine for growth in a particular area, and it can be really good for a ball club. It's dramatically more complicated than building just a stadium. Absolutely 100% true. But it's the only way it's going to get done because of the multiple revenue sources needed to build a stadium. That's my comment again, trying to separate my comments from this article and Manfred's quotes. While the A's have been given permission, this is from the article, to explore a move from Oakland to Las Vegas, Manfred reiterated that MLB considers Tampa Bay to be a viable site. Quote, I think that we see the potential in the Tampa market dramatically different than what we see in Oakland, he said. In seeking a large share of funding from Pinellas County, the article continues, the Rays are in an odd position of essentially competing against other major league teams. The Phillies are seeking a share of the hotel bed tax revenues to renovate and expand their spring facilities in Clearwater, as the Blue Jays recently did to upgrade their stadium and complex in Dunedin. Manfred didn't necessarily see a conflict. He said, quote, what I would say about that is with public financing, the state's one option, the county's another option, the city's a third option. Whether that competition with other teams is direct or not just depends on the decisions that are made with respect to requests. See, this is Rob Manfred, also, he's also the commissioner of the Blue Jays and the Clearwater Phillies, right? So he has to also pitch for that public money as well. He wants to, get the taxpayers to pay for his Clearwater spring training, is Dunedin, which I think they spent $60 million in Dunedin for that. Well worth it, by the way. But that's money that's not going into the for the stadium downtown. And also in the article here, the Rays wouldn't seem to get state help for the project as Florida Governor Ron DeSantis last year vetoed funding a new spring training site in Pasco County, saying, I don't support giving taxpayer dollars to professional sports teams, stadiums, period. Okay. Also, he said, Manfred told the Times his office hasn't spoken with DeSantis about that's another deal. Okay. So basically, where's the funding coming from? And we talked to Ken Hagan about this, and we're going to replay some of that interview right now. And basically, he said that is the big problem there, and that a developer is going to be needed in downtown Tampa to complete this project. And whether that is going to be Daryl Shaw, who owns what they're calling now the Ybor Marina site, or bringing in a third party, they don't know, but that's going to be obviously very important to that deal getting done. And as I said back before, that shouldn't be a big hurdle here with respect to major projects that are going on all over the world. Real estate projects, where else would you rather invest your money than in Tampa? I mean, clearly, and to have a baseball stadium as an anchor would be a tremendous appeal for any developer, because everywhere this has been tried, where baseball stadiums are put up, there has been an incredible explosion of growth. You can look at lower downtown in Denver. You can look at Washington, D.C., where they built the National Stadium. You can look in Houston. All of these were blighted areas that have turned into high real estate dollar areas because of the presence of the baseball stadium. So this is a proven model in Atlanta, obviously, as well. This is a proven model, and no place would it work better than in Tampa, which is one of the fastest growing regions in the world. So, and what you have in St. Petersburg, obviously, is growth, but very limited growth because there's no land. there's no land to build, and there's no increase or very relative increase in population because you're landlocked and you're surrounded by water, whereas all the growth in Florida in the I-4 corridor is towards Tampa and to the east of Tampa. So all of these demographics scream Tampa. And that's why when people say that this is a done deal in St. Petersburg, and first and foremost, what I think the next political part of this discussion that needs to happen, and this will happen when the mayor hopefully holds the raised feet to the fire and says how much you're going to put in, and the financing of the actual stadium is revealed. Okay, and if the stadium is revealed where the public is going to have to pay $800 million for a stadium in a location that has completely failed for 25 years, the taxpayers, I think, will probably wake up and go, whoa, what are we doing? We're really going to spend $700-800 million to build a stadium that nobody's going to come to? That because of the location? That's really what we're going to do? And I think it's going to be rather sobering for Ken Welch and others when they realize that's not the best expenditure of public money. Now, if you're talking about building it in an area where there's exponential growth, then I think state money, public money, and by the way, the state will certainly pitch in if they feel like it's a project that's not just about baseball, but it's about other things as well. And that's development in downtown and continued development and more tax-based money for Tampa. And I also, as I talk with some of the leaders of the city of Tampa, and Mayor Castor is up for election here soon, and we'll see how that goes. But as much as Mayor Castor has been, I think, positive about getting a stadium in Tampa, I don't think she's been proactive at all, because I didn't think there was any city money that could be used for this. But as I was explained to me, there is possible city money that could come into play, tourist dollars that could be used for some portion of building the stadium area in Ybor Marina, and a significant amount of money as well. So that's a funding source that I wasn't even aware of, and you'll hear Ken Hagan allude to it as well. So there is much to be done on this, but I think this conversation yesterday with Manfred and Topkin is illuminating in and of itself that clearly Major League Baseball is not enamored with this location, and clearly would rather have it on the Tampa side. And clearly St. Petersburg, this deal is not done in St. Pete, which is the biggest, I think, message that we're getting right here. So do we have the bite from Hagan on funding?
I don't have the specific bite. I have the whole interview here, though, lined up for you.
Mm-hmm. All right.
I can get it lined up, though, like in a break or something. Or
We'll do that too. Yeah, let's go ahead and do it. Let's go ahead and take a break. We'll come back on the other side, and I want to specifically get to the funding piece and where that's at, and a couple of other timeline pieces as well, because I thought Ken's interview was very illuminating. So we'll do that when we come back. Quick break. We're brought to you by the Jeeves Law Group, JEEVESLawGroup.com, Bay Area Modern Medical Center, and Italiano Insurance, and also the Valspar Championship, which is coming up March 16th through the 19th. So get your tickets now at valsparchampionship.com. Back in 3. JP here for the Jeeves Law Group. I've known Scott Jeeves for quite some time, and he's just like us, a huge college football fan. He loves his Gators. In fact, he sponsors our Gator Report every Thursday at 11 o'clock with Scott Carter from FloridaGators.com. But he's not just another PI attorney. He is a ferocious advocate for his clients. Scott Jeeves is a board-certified civil trial lawyer and a certified circuit court mediator practicing in Tampa Bay for over 30 years. He is an AV preeminent rated civil trial lawyer and certified circuit court mediator. Folks, these designations are not just given out. They're given only to the best trial attorneys. But more than anything, Scott takes these cases personally. I've heard it from his clients. He's a fighter you want on your side. Insurance companies hate it when they see you're represented by Jeeves. He's just different. 727-894-2929 or go to JeevesLawGroup.com. That's JEEVES JPSlawgroup.com and tell them JP sent you.
Now is the time to make sure your home insurance is in order. In the last year, many of us have made improvements to our homes. So call the folks at Italiano and discuss these upgrades to make sure you have enough coverage. According to a recent report, almost 64% of homeowners don't have enough insurance on their home, which is their most valuable asset. Also, a great time to make sure you have flood insurance. Even if your mortgage company does not require flood insurance, your home could still be at flood risk. Another big item as we enter hurricane season is making sure your pool enclosure is added to your policy and there will be no issue at claim time. That happens a lot. So call your friendly agent at Italiano Insurance to review your policies today. 813-877-7799 or italianoinsurance.com.
Was your car totaled in an accident? Did your insurance company use Kelley Blue Book or NADA to appraise the value of your car? Chances are they didn't, and you got shorted maybe thousands of dollars. Call the Jeeves Law Group for a free case evaluation because your insurance company may still owe you money. 727-894-2929. It's a free call, so why not find out if you have a case? Insurance companies have been running this scam for a while, and most folks don't know if they've been shorted. Trust me. Scott Jeeves is a different kind of attorney, the kind insurance companies hate to go up against. He could recover thousands of dollars, so why not call? 727-894-2929 or go to JeevesLawGroup.com. That's JEEVES lawgroup.com and tell them JP sent you.
Coming back at you.
Now, more with JP on FanStream Sports. It's only just begun.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show. We're talking about the latest developments in the Rays Stadium saga and some new information coming in from Rob Manfred that I think really tells us more than anything that it's still very much up in the air where this location is going to be. And I think in the end, it's still going to be in Tampa. Obviously, whether Hillsborough County and the city of Tampa can come up with a funding package that will do this is the biggest source of consternation right now. There's no question. So here's our conversation, short piece of it with Ken Hagan regarding developers and money. All right, we'll cut that off. I think most of it was out there, and also we're getting reports that when we play this particular type of sound, it goes dead on YouTube for whatever reason on our app and everything else. You guys can hear it in other places, but for YouTube it does not.
I'm reminded that I think you tried to play some of this like a couple weeks ago when I was out, and the only thing it didn't play on was on YouTube.
Yeah, it's kind of weird.
That's really weird.
And we're playing it back from YouTube
because when you go back and listen to it on the app and Apple, Spotify, everywhere else, you're hearing it.
It was weird.
That's odd. It's only this interview.
That's bizarre. But anyway, it's, the way.
Are we back in retro? Are we back in retrograde? Are we back there again?
I don't know, but perhaps we are. But the point being is that it is all about getting this other developer in line, and I think it's going to be a very attractive space to be in. I mean, that Ybor Marina area, if you saw the original projections of that leaked out with the baseball stadium there, I'm not a huge fan of the baseball stadium design. It's a very modernistic type thing, but at this point, I'll take what I can get. If it's going to be new and it's going to be beautiful inside and it's going to be in a great location, I'm all for it. Whatever you got to do. Modern is fine if it's done.
It is what
done
it is.
Well, right?
It is what it is at this point. I'm not going to be really choosy with it. $1.2 billion. I mean, that's the price tag. And I mean, if they're going to build anything nowadays, as you've seen with all these NFL stadiums, which quite frankly have no character to them, that it just is what it is. It's fine. It's fine. I mean, the good news is, and we confirmed this when Ken Welch made the announcement a couple weeks ago, and even Manfred saying this yesterday, at least we know this team is going nowhere out of this market.
We've already known that.
But at least we have that confirmed from every party now. There's no more doubt. It's going to be here. It's just a matter of where. That's the silver lining in all this. I'm still going to go to the games no matter where it is. Yep. Obviously, I have my preferences. I think a lot of people have their preferences. And I have seen more Rays fans warm up to the idea of St. Pete. I'm not going to ignore that. I have seen more people start to warm up to the idea.
I think they're just
St. Pete.
They're stadium fatigued.
Yes,
they just want they're the hardcore baseball fans that are going to go to the games regardless.
Correct.
And they'd like a new stadium. We all would like a new stadium, even if it's in St. Pete. Will I go to more games at a new stadium? Absolutely, I will. Because I don't like the Trop. I don't like and hopefully they make improvements because there are really good indoor stadiums.
Yeah, I just want to see
they've done it really well in Houston and other places. But in my feeling is that the Rays are going to cheap out because he's going to sell the team anyway.
Well,
and it's going to be a disaster.
To me, the biggest I don't know if obstacle is the right word, but the thing I'm looking out for is if this thing goes in St. Pete on the site that they want. Yes, initially you're going to have a lot more people, I think, coming in, see the ballpark, be around, get a feel for it. I want to see the longevity. Let's see what it looks like in 5 to 7 years.
It's not going to be
because at the end of the day, the drive is still the drive. Right. All the other logistics are the same.
Yeah. The main reasons that people don't go still exist.
Yeah, it is fascinating though, and again, looking at this thing as a whole, it is fascinating when you look at when the team has been successful. And then for the last 15 years, it really has been a successful team for about 10 or 11 of those.
Yeah.
But it's interesting when you look at attendance numbers, and I don't know what really plays into this, but like in 08, 09, when they were really good, they were getting in like 23,000 on average, I believe, in 08.
Yeah.
I think 2009 it was like
average that attendance.
No, that was the average.
23,000?
23,000 was the average
for the season or on the weekends?
For the season in 2008.
Really? Wow, I did not know that.
Now, there were other factors. There was obviously more seating available, things like that. But still, it's interesting that when they were really good then, 15 years ago, that was the attendance. And then now lately, they were really good the last few years, and the attendance has kind of been hovering in that 11 to 14 range. So I'm trying to figure out what happened there in those years. Is it the Lightning that cut into that?
Oh, yeah, big time. Think about it. The Lightning in 08 and 09, they were terrible, right? They were struggling with ownership. They didn't have the fan base that they have now. And people have to choose, like, am I going to buy Lightning season tickets or Rays season tickets? Well, for the past, 9 years, the Lightning have taken a lot of that dispensable income here in Tampa Bay. And the Buccaneers have too for the last 3 or 4 years, right? They've been on the come as well. So I think that's definitely hit into it. I think also the negativity surrounding ownership also has really played into it. I think a significant amount of people don't go to games because they don't want to support Stu, like Thomas Casper here. MLB 100% controls the stadium location, and they don't like Stu.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But then
that's
again,
true.
But then again, yeah, I got it right here. The exact number in 2008 was 22,259, so just under 23,000. That number, though, in 2008, that was 26th in baseball.
Yeah,
that was 26.
Yeah.
There was
only trend towards less. Baseball,
in general, there's a trend towards less attendance. So if you compare that then, 14 years later, last year, that would have been an attendance that would have been in the top 20 in baseball this year. And whereas there was only 2 teams that had less than 20,000 in attendance then, this year you had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 teams under 20,000.
Interesting.
So in general, baseball attendance has dropped off, but it's just still fascinating in this market how big of a drop off it's been.
Yeah, I think you got fatigue for going over, because also a lot of people have gone over and not enjoyed the experience. Right? They drive over and they're like, oh.
I would argue that going to a game 15 years ago is exactly like going to a game now.
Yeah.
There's not much that's different.
No. But I think at some point, there's fatigue. It's like, I don't want to spend my money doing that again. And now, of course, the price of the tickets the last few years has been up. So there's a lot that goes into it. But as far as the location, there's no question which is the better location, and that's to me is at the key to this whole thing, as the mayor Ken Welch or this region as a whole. I mean, the region this is something that should be a decision that's made more from a regional perspective than a provincial respective city versus city, right? And I think Mayor Kreisman did a great job in allowing the Rays to look in Hillsborough County. And that started this whole thing. And anybody with a vision, with a region-wide vision would say, no, let's not waste our resources in a failed location. And the other part about that is the Trop redevelopment site does not need the baseball stadium. It doesn't need it. It needs more room for other things like affordable housing and more businesses and more areas, more residential down there or a convention center that would bring in more people specifically from outside the area and bring more money in. So all those things, it's not like, oh, St. Pete is going to lose this big draw and we're not going to be able to survive anymore. No, that's not the thing. In fact, you can make an argument that a convention center would be much more beneficial to the taxpayers, and they could still go to Rays games across the bay. So it's a win-win. The win-win for the region. Put the baseball stadium where it should be located, centrally located. Build a convention center or anything else over there that's going to bring in more visitors and spend that bed tax money in a much more productive way. Even, you could argue, giving it to the Phillies and these other teams that bring in people from outside of the region is a better expenditure of that money. When you can still allow the Rays to go across the bay, your constituents can still go see as many Rays games as they probably go to see now, and you're getting more bang for your buck out of your tax dollars. Doesn't that make more sense politically for St. Petersburg? Of course it does. All right, we'll take a break. We'll come back on the other side, and we'll hit the Buccaneers. I think they have a receivers coach as well. I believe that we've hired the receivers coach, and this kind of tells us where we're going with this. Have some concerns about it. We will talk about that when we come back. We're brought to you by the Jeeves Law Group, JEEVES lawgroup.com, Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com, Italiano Insurance, and the Golden Diamond Source. Always a good time to stop by there and see Julie and Steve Weintraub. Great folks over there, 3800 Almerton Road. Always online at thegoldendiamondsource.com. Back in 3.
Attention, if you are home shopping or looking for a refinance, and even if you already have the approval letter, you must call my man Scott Fitzgerald at American Mortgage Services. Scott has a brand new program available in the greater Tampa Bay area called the Community Advantage Loan Program. Get this, no money down, no mortgage insurance, no points, no origination fee, purchase or refinance, and loan amounts up to $647,000. Now, there are some application requirements. It must be a single-family home, 1 unit, primary residence, and have a minimum 640 credit score. The program only applies to certain neighborhoods, so you have to call to find out if you qualify. So call Scott Fitzgerald at 813-294-7595 or email him at scott@amstampa.com. AMSTampa.com. Now, even if you don't qualify for that program, Scott will shop your loan around, get you the best rates, and won't charge you the huge upfront fees. And if you've had issues with your bank calling you back, Scott will return calls immediately or at least the same day. 813-294-7595 or email him, scott@amstampa.com. Scott Fitzgerald, MLS 386722, American Mortgage Services, 1000 North Ashley Drive, Suite 1020, Tampa, Florida.
Hey, folks, it's still engagement season, and where better to get that special ring than the Gold and Diamond Source. The Gold and Diamond Source has the largest selection of engagement rings in the country, a literal jewelry supercenter with 30 times the inventory of any normal jeweler. You don't have to wait to spend any extra time waiting for them to bring something in. They have everything right there in-house, so why go anywhere else? And you can get up to 15% off this January if you buy something with the birthstone, which is garnet. Garnet and gold, Florida State, get something for your favorite Seminole. And let's not forget the Emily collection from Emily Johnson Weintraub. Very affordable, real gold and diamond jewelry, always stylish and unique. Emily has created this fashion-forward gold, diamond, and gemstone jewelry line ideal for everyday wear. Each piece is designed to enhance your look by featuring eye-catching, modern, geometrical shapes. Really unique stuff. Got to check it out. And, of course, Julie and Steve Weintraub, great benefactors here in the local community. So let's keep it local. And you can get 0% financing for up to 5 years. Get a big ring for a little price. It's the Golden Diamond Source, 3800 Olmerton Road, always online at thegoldendiamondsource.com.
JP here for Emerging Investigations, Tampa Bay's premier investigation agency. Do you suspect your spouse is cheating or involved in a divorce, that your spouse is hiding money, an ex-employee or current employee with suspicious behavior? Is there a criminal matter you need help with? If you need information you can count on, using the professionals at Emerging Investigations is a slam dunk. Emerging Investigations is a licensed and insured private investigation agency, family-owned. Emerging is your ideal resource to secure evidence and validation, allowing you to make informed decisions in life's biggest matters. Led by industry executive Brian D'Antonio, Emerging possesses the experience and resources to get needed results. Emerging Investigations maintains an excellent reputation as a premier investigation agency. They are known for results. You're not just hiring a PI, but an organized, dedicated team using state-of-the-art technology. Their proven investigative methods produce crucial information used in criminal cases, insurance fraud, and personal injury claims. Many local attorneys, industry agencies, and your concerned neighbors all count on Emerging Investigations. Just go to their website, emerginginv.com, or call 813-291-FACT. That's 813-291-FACT-3228. Get results you can trust in life's biggest matters. Emerging Investigations.
Well, it's that time of year to renew or shop your health insurance provider, and you can get great health insurance for $20, $30, $50 a month. Just call 888-325-0605 to help navigate the health insurance marketplace. 1 out of 3 people in Florida are uncovered because they think they can't afford it. Not true. I made the call a couple of years ago, and they helped me get Blue Cross Blue Shield coverage, Florida Blue, for just $20 a month. Last year, it went up to $49. Oh, well. It all depends on your income and your family situation. It's a free call, 888-325-0605. They will ask for some income information. So if you have your tax returns available, that will be great, but you don't need it. They'll just answer some simple questions, and the highly trained reps will do the work for you to find out what your subsidy will be. 888-325-0605. And if you have a plan through your employer, you may be able to get it cheaper. It's a free call, so find out, folks. This has been a lifesaver for me and saved me thousands of dollars over the last few years, and you can choose your plan. It's a no-brainer. Find out. Make the free call. 888-325-0605. Get covered like me and thousands of others. 888-325-0605. The PGA Tour's Valspar Championship returns this March 16th to the 19th with 4 days of golf action plus the host of fun activities that make it Tampa Bay's hottest spring sports ticket. Sam Burns, who won in a thrilling playoff last year, is looking to make it 3 wins in a row on the Copperhead course at Innisbrook Resort. He will be challenged by a top field that includes Jordan Spieth, returning for the first time in 5 years. The 2015 Valspar champ counts 13 PGA Tour victories, including 3 majors in his career. It will be a great field and great fun. Tickets are on sale now at ValsparChampionship.com for all tournament days, both grounds tickets and premium ticket options. You don't want to miss the 2023 Valspar Championship.
Let's go. Right now. Back to the show with JP on FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show. As we transition into some Bucs talk here, we're brought to you by American Mortgage Services. Scott Fitzgerald, our good friend over there. Rates are coming down now. Mortgage rates are coming back down. They're all over the place. So you need somebody who knows what he's doing, has been in the business for a long, long time, and that is definitely our buddy Scott. He has done 3 of my loans, done over 3,000 loans here in the Tampa Bay area, works with a lot of local coaches and players, and does everything from 100,000 to 5 million, whatever you got, and does the best job because he goes the extra mile for you, helping you out with your finances, your decisions on how to do insurance and whatnot. Very, very far reaching. It'll get you the lowest rates. So American Mortgage Services, Scott at AMS Tampa, Scott at AMS Tampa. Tell him JP sent you. All right. So the Bucs are moving forward with their offensive staff, and I believe they've hired Brad Idzik as their new wide receivers coach, or is that's what is being widely reported, that he will be coming with Dave Canales. Brad is 31 years old. He is the son of John Idzik, longtime Tampa Bay Buccaneers front office official and Seattle official.
Yep.
And will come over with Dave Canales. So a lot of youthful, young energy coming into this
Needed.
coaching staff.
Very much so needed.
I would agree with that as well.
We're not going to sit here and break down receiver coaches like crazy. But we mentioned it yesterday a little bit, like who was Canales going to be able to bring with him,
right?
Knowing that he's been at one stop. I think this is a good sign. He was able to get the guy that he's been working with for a few years now to come along with him.
Yep.
Gets a little bit of a promotion. What I like about it, and this is a thing we didn't even mention yesterday when we were talking about Canales, is for the entire time that he's been in Seattle, he's worked with DK Metcalf.
Mm-hmm.
He's worked with Tyler Lockett. He's worked with Doug Baldwin, Golden Tate. That's 4 Pro Bowl receivers there.
Pretty damn good.
That have come through Seattle during the time that he's been there, right? And Doug Baldwin, in the case of Baldwin and Tyler Lockett, those guys were not, high draft picks necessarily. So Dave Canales clearly knows what he's doing with receivers. I mean, that's a position we think of strength right now for the Buccaneers, at least with the top 2 on the roster. So I like that. There's a familiarity there with coaching star receivers. So not a tough transition. So, and also it's a cool little story, the fact that he grew up in Tampa and he's coming back home.
Yeah, that's true. The only thing I do worry about is, we criticized Lovie Smith for having a lot of friends and family on the payroll, and are they good coaches? Or they was their path greased by who their dad was, or have they earned their way? I'm not saying he hasn't, but when I hear a lot of these family names, sometimes I'm like, okay, is this a good coach or is he just well connected? Let's see how this plays out. Now, what you just said tells me that he's doing something right.
Yeah.
He's doing something right because, one good thing about being having your dad as one of these key people in the position, you've been around football all your life and you've studied under some really, really good people. Right. Yeah. So those guys are lifers.
Yeah. And even this guy too, talking about Idzik, other than his dad, before he got to Seattle, he was at Stanford for 5 seasons. Who's the head coach at Stanford? David Shaw.
Yeah.
One of the more respected football minds.
Really well coached
in college and NFL. So he's been around David Shaw and Pete Carroll. Mm-hmm. Not a bad association to have your entire time in coaching.
Very, very good mentors in a lot of different ways. So, his pedigree certainly tells us that he's been around some good people, and the proof is in the pudding. The receivers that he has coached and the people that he's been around, it looks really, really good. But I'll always be a little bit hesitant when I see some of those names. But you got to go out and prove yourself, and clearly he's done that. So, just to be fair, we bring these things up. So, now the other thing that's interesting is obviously with Canales coming here, everybody's talking about Geno Smith, but it looks like Geno Smith is going to get paid either by Seattle or somebody else.
Yeah, that's a pipe dream.
Yeah, so his salary is estimated at about $32 to $35 million a year, and I just don't think that's something that, to me, if you're in a different cap situation, it just doesn't really fit where the Bucs are right now.
Yeah,
I think, and again, we talked about this yesterday. The big piece that has changed from last week is last week there was a narrative that Brady was going to sign a 1-year deal with the Buccaneers and allow them to spread out basically and void it and retire. But that would allow the Bucs to push $24 million down the road. And remember, when you push that $24 million down the road, you're going to get probably another $24 million or more in cap increase the following season, as we did this year. The cap is going to continue to go up. So had Brady done that, it would have given the Bucs a lot more flexibility this year and next year. In other words, it's almost like declaring bankruptcy because they clear your debt. If you're getting more and more cap relief every year, 25 million every year, and you can push that 25 million, it's almost like it's getting written off, right?
Yeah.
Now, of course, other teams will have more to play with. So from an apples to apples standpoint, you're still going to be at a little bit of a disadvantage, but it would allow you to do so much more this year and so much more next year and really help the team stay competitive.
Oh, it's going to help them next year, actually.
So the question is,
the bullet this year.
Yeah, the question is, but you didn't have to. If Brady wanted to work with the Buccaneers, but as I said last week,
well, it sounds like that the Bucs. This is what the Bucs doing.
We don't know that.
We don't know that.
We don't know that.
You know,
we don't know that because I was listening to Rick Stroud's podcast, and he said that he talked to some people in the organization that basically, with Brady's team that said, well, don't get mad at Jason Light for the cap situation. So that tells me that this was more of a Brady thing than it was a Buccaneers thing. And I don't understand, why would the Bucs do that? Why would the Bucs, with all the I'm talking about from a business standpoint, okay? The Buccaneers have got a lot of business deals tied into this Brady thing, okay? And we may have gotten an extra year out of Brady than we even thought we would in the beginning, but they're still there. And these companies are paying a lot of money, and they're not interested in a complete tear-down rebuild, which is, you've got to go more towards that if you've got to eat all that cap money this year. So I think the Bucs very much wanted to spread that out. So this development doesn't help them at all. Now, What does it do for Brady? It allows Brady, if he wants to come back, to be unencumbered. If he was under contract with the Bucs, my understanding is the Bucs would have to waive any compensation for him to go play for somebody else.
Correct.
Which I think they would want. I think they would do without question. But Brady probably thought they would do it last year too, and they did not. And I think it was a completely different situation. I think the Buccaneers would have, I don't think they could put it in the contract because you're circumventing what's going on with the NFL. But I think you could look Tom Brady in the eye and say, listen, dude, we need the cap relief. Could you please? So we can do this. And if you need to go play for somebody else, we are not going to keep you from doing that. We release you, no compensation, nothing, go. And, evidently that wasn't the case. So that's what I'm reading between the lines. I don't know. We don't know. I would love to ask Jason Light, was that your decision or was that Brady's decision? So, and there's also, I think there's some media rights stuff involved in that once Brady retires, he separates himself from the NFL media rights and doesn't get anything, but also doesn't have to be constrained by anything. So that might be part of it too. I don't know all the ins and outs of that, to be perfectly honest, but it seems like there's a disconnect there. And if you got to take that charge this year, it changes everything, the way you look at how you can bring in quarterbacks. So now it appears that Drew Lock is more of a veteran possibility. Now, personally,
are we calling Drew Lock a veteran?
I guess he's not a rookie.
He plays like a rookie.
Yeah, I mean, why would you go Drew Lock when you can go Baker Mayfield?
It's just nothing there, and part of this,
or Sam Darnold, or someone with a much higher ceiling.
It's nothing against Geno Smith. It really isn't. He's a great story, but Drew Lock's career was dead in the water the second that Geno Smith beat him out in a quarterback competition.
Right.
Because I think Seattle had every intention to have Drew Lock be their quarterback this season.
I agree.
I truly believe that. But Geno Smith forced the issue. Good on him.
Yeah.
Drew Lock didn't take advantage of the moment.
Right.
And he didn't take advantage of any opportunity he had in Denver.
Right.
8-13 as a starter, 25 touchdown, 20 pick, under 60% completion percentage. I'm good.
Not the guy.
I'm good.
Not the guy.
He's more of he's not as mobile as a quarterback that I'd want. I would just pass. He's so far on my list. he's probably at that point. I'd rather just go Kyle Trask.
Yeah,
I really would.
yeah. Is there a big difference between Drew Lock and Kyle Trask?
I was literally about to say, I'm
No.
like, is there really a difference there? But at least I'd rather go with the unknown because I would have more intrigue there. I know what I'm getting with Drew Lock.
And I would rather go, and I think the Bucs do need to bring in a veteran.
Yeah.
I'm not totally against Blaine Gabbert. I mean, as compared to
I am.
as compared to, a Sam Darnold or a Baker Mayfield.
No, come on. Those guys are still big upgrades over Blaine Gabbert.
We don't know that.
I still think they are. I mean, Baker Mayfield, for all of his shortcomings, the guy has been in the playoffs before. We're not too long ago removed from that.
I don't even know how much he's going to cost.
It can't be that much. I mean, he got released by Carolina.
Yeah.
He's playing mop-up duty in Los Angeles, and it was probably a mixed bag. I mean, Sam Darnold was impressive at times last year on a team that was openly tanking.
And Baker going to L.A. and doing something.
He did something, right?
Did something. It makes it a little bit more interesting.
I mean, how we even
like Gabbert's a complete. I agree. Gabbert's a complete unknown.
We even talked about Gardner Minshew. I mean, has Gardner Minshew won a few games in this league a little bit? Yeah.
Yeah.
He if anything, he's entertaining.
Yeah.
Right. It'll be fun to watch him.
Yeah.
He's
Fun
the
to do interviews.
He's the kind of guy that can get on like one of those like hot streaks for like 5 or 6 weeks. Like we saw Cooper Rush just did it with Dallas.
Yeah.
Taylor Heineke was also out there as well. He's been able to do that in his career before, and Gardner Minshew's did it in Jacksonville. Like they can get on these little hot runs, and eventually they come back down to earth, but they're exciting at least.
You know what makes me intrigued about Mayfield is that Cleveland team that he was on. What did they do? They ran the football. They ran
really
the football
well.
What does Canales want to do? And what you had that Todd Bowles sheet up? Read this from Todd Bowles. His statement on Dave Canales.
Yeah. He said, we are excited to announce Dave Canales as our new offensive coordinator. I want to thank the various candidates that we interviewed throughout this very thorough process. Dave has done a great job in a variety of roles with Seattle the past 13 years, and he brings a passion for coaching and an energy level that players just seem to respond to. He has played a significant part in the development and growth of many Seahawks players who have contributed to their offensive success over the past decade, and I look forward to seeing what he will do with our players on offense. The more we talked, the more it became apparent that we are very similar in how we approach the game, and I'm confident that we will find a way to maximize our strengths on defense. So
on defense or on offense?
On offense. So the money quote there to me was at the end where he said, the more we talked, the more it became apparent that we are very similar in how we approach the game.
Yeah, and also, and you could interchange offense and defense.
Yeah,
because he wants a offense that's going to help his defense, which means run the football, keep the other team off the field, the other offense off the field. Your best defense is a good offense.
Yeah.
Let's just be honest about that. So let's and that's good. So now Bowles is going to have what he wants in an offensive coordinator, which clearly he did not have last year. We've acknowledged that. He should have fired him midseason, in my opinion, but he didn't, and he got what he deserved, which was a bad offense the entire year that never came out of the funk. So we'll see what happens with Dave Canales and the staff that he brings in. And we, obviously the quarterback is going to be a big issue.
It's clear that Bowles, the blueprint, and you even asked all parties involved, I believe, when you were over there in Dallas after the first game where they just ran it down the Cowboys' throat. Yeah. Like, hey, is this part of the philosophy that you want as a head coach? And I think we got, kind of, they obviously didn't answer it directly, kind of, but.
No, he did.
Or Bowles, Bowles did, right?
Bowles
Not
did,
Brady, though. Not Brady, though.
Yeah, Bowles did.
Yeah, Bowles did.
Yeah.
And that just didn't come to fruition. I mean, at one point I said, I don't know how much you really need to run the football in 2022 it was. Clearly, I was proven wrong because the Bucs just could not run. They had to throw it 60 times. And I think that's the thing here is the quarterback that you're going to have, it's not going to be Tom Brady. It's not going to be somebody that can throw 50, 60 times a game. And you're still in the ball game like the Bucs were oftentimes this year. It's not going to happen that way.
Right.
Preferably, one of these quarterbacks you're bringing in, you don't want them throwing more than 35 times. Right. Even that's probably on the high end.
Right.
So, although I feel like the old philosophy is we got to run the football and we got to pound them down, even though I think that is archaic in a sense, especially given what we saw in the Super Bowl where the running back position was like completely irrelevant. For this team, for this year, it's really the only option they have to go.
Yeah. They've got to be balanced.
Because even if you brought in a Baker Mayfield or Sam Darnold, if those guys are throwing 40, 50 a game, listen, Brady got away with it that he didn't throw picks because he's Tom Brady.
Right.
Those guys are throwing 3 or 4 every game if they have to throw that many times.
Absolutely.
It's going to happen.
Absolutely. And the fact that the teams are scheming to stop the passing game shows you that there is an opening for the running game. I think you can see a little bit of a resurgence in the run game with teams that are going to actually invest in running the football. And I think it's going to pay dividends. You know, when everybody else is zigging, you zag, right?
And Philadelphia, to their credit, they used it the entire year of running the football, and it got them all the way to the Super Bowl.
Right.
Eventually, when they got to the Super Bowl, when they got to the Super Bowl, they kind of abandoned it. But then they had the quarterback that was able to get him into the game regardless. But so I'm not saying you can't do it. It's just not my preference, I guess, is what I'm saying. It's a lot harder, I think, to try to do it that way.
It just, you know what? It's got to complement your passing game. I think what is most important in the NFL. I mean, if you could, to me, the ultimate offense is a team that can throw for 250 and run for 150 a game.
Preferably,
To me, if you can do that, you're going to win a lot of football games because it makes your defense better. It makes everything better. There's less chances of turnovers, and turnovers are obviously the number one determining factor in who wins games. So it helps all of those other things. That to me would be the desired offense. And I think that's what Todd Bowles is looking at. You don't need to throw for 5,000 yards. You just don't need to, but you need to be balanced. And that, I think, balance to a lot of people means, you have to run the ball. No, but you need to build a team that complements each other in terms of play action passing and running the football, being able to run the football when teams say, we're going to put 6 in the box because we're stopping we're going to play coverage. Yeah. And you're still not going to run the ball on us. You got to be able to run the ball in that situation.
I think it's like every team needs it in its back pocket. I don't think it needs to be the primary thing. Like Kansas City's a good example. I think if they really needed to turn to it, they could, but you have Patrick Mahomes.
Right.
And oftentimes you're blowing them out. But I think it's the reason why Buffalo is struggling to get over that hump is because they don't really have that running game in their back pocket,
right?
Nor do they have the discipline to commit to it.
Right.
And that's the reason why Buffalo is having problems getting to that next level. So I think it's more of a thing that you need to have in your back pocket, more so in most situations being your number one calling card.
Yeah.
Because this is a quarterback league, and it ain't changing anytime soon.
No, I agree 100%. All right, we'll take another quick break. When we come back on the other side, the Bears may be moving out of Chicago, which is interesting. And what's going on with the Lightning and Cal Foote? Is he on the trade table? And some interesting quotes from DeMar Hamlin in his interview with Michael Strahan. We'll get to all that, plus our entertainment reporter Paul Wilson and former FSU Major League pitcher Rick Hatcher will join us as well in the 11 o'clock hour. Talk about some of the new rules and a big event that they have coming up. If you're a baseball fan, you'll love it. So stay with us.
JP here for Italiano Insurance. If you've started a side hustle during COVID and the business has grown, well, you need business insurance because if you get sued, you could lose all your personal wealth if you're not properly protected. That's right. Your home, your savings, everything could go. So get protected now. Call the great agents at Italiano Insurance, 813-877-7799, and a real human will answer the phone and get you protected. If you haven't shopped your business insurance in a while, you could be overpaying by thousands. One customer had their golf buddy handling his business insurance, then called Italiano to shop it around, and they saved him $26,000 a year. Yeah. So call 813-877-7799 or go to ItalianoInsurance.com. Italiano Insurance, protecting all the pieces of your life for over 60 years.
The boys are back. The PGA Tour's Valspar Championship returns March 16th to the 19th with 4 days of incredible golf plus a host of activities that make it Tampa Bay's hottest spring sports ticket. There is more to the Valspar than just great golf. It's the Hooters Owl's Nest, the Snake Pit Club, accessible by premium tickets, and other great venues throughout the course for those with ground tickets. And new in 2023 is the Rooftop, a new prestigious venue at the 18th green with music, food, and fun. Plus, you never know who you're going to see at the Rooftop. Tickets are on sale now at ValsparChampionship.com for all tournament days, both grounds tickets and premium ticket options. You don't want to miss the 2023 Valspar Championship.
Attention, if you are home shopping or looking for a refinance, and even if you already have the approval letter, you must call my man Scott Fitzgerald at American Mortgage Services. Scott has a brand new program available in the greater Tampa Bay area called the Community Advantage Loan Program. Get this, no money down, no mortgage insurance, no points, no origination fee, purchase or refinance, and loan amounts up to $647,000. Now, there are some application requirements. It must be a single-family home, 1 unit, primary residence, and have a minimum 640 credit score. The program only applies to certain neighborhoods, so you have to call to find out if you qualify. So call Scott Fitzgerald at 813-294-7595 or email him at scott@amstampa.com. Now, even if you don't qualify for that program, Scott will shop your loan around, get you the best rates, and won't charge you the huge upfront fees. And if you've had issues with your bank calling you back, Scott will return calls immediately or at least the same day. 813-294-7595 or email him, scott@amstampa.com. Scott Fitzgerald, MLS 386722, American Mortgage Services, 1000 North Ashley Drive, Suite 1020, Tampa, Florida.
Hey, folks, it's still engagement season, and where better to get that special ring than the Gold and Diamond Source? The Gold and Diamond Source has the largest selection of engagement rings in the country, a literal jewelry super center with 30 times the inventory of any normal jeweler. You don't have to wait to spend any extra time waiting for them to bring something in. They have everything right there in-house, so why go anywhere else? And you can get up to 15% off this January if you buy something with the birthstone, which is garnet. Garnet and gold, Florida State, get something for your favorite Seminole. And let's not forget the Emily collection from Emily Johnson Weintraub. Very affordable, real gold and diamond jewelry, always stylish and unique. Emily has created this fashion-forward gold, diamond, and gemstone jewelry line ideal for everyday wear. Each piece is designed to enhance your look by featuring eye-catching, modern, geometrical shapes. Really unique stuff. Got to check it out. And, of course, Julie and Steve Weintraub, great benefactors here in the local community. So let's keep it local. And you can get 0% financing for up to 5 years. Get a big ring for a little price. It's the Golden Diamond Source, 3800 Olmerton Road, always online at thegoldendiamondsource.com.
Hey guys, it's a new year, so are you looking for a new you to lose weight, lean up? There are many diets and chiropractors and weight loss clinics out there, but you know where to start? Bay Area Modern Medical Center. Chris Lugo, PA, and his professional staff will devise a personal plan for you that gets results and help you keep the weight off. Everybody metabolizes food and supplements differently, and many of these other approaches are designed for the masses, the quick weight loss, but it doesn't stay off, right? Chris will spend one-on-one time with you to find out what works best for you, so the weight comes off safely without use of drugs that only work temporarily. So call 844-977-3477 or go to BAMMC.com. And Chris will join us each Monday at 11:45 to talk about your wellness and the significant injuries to athletes in the sports world. That's 844-977-3477 or BAMMC.com.
Pure sports. JP is back on.
Welcome back.
FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show, brought to you in our second hour by Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com. If you're looking to lose weight, do some body sculpting or testosterone replacement therapy, or just looking for a new general practitioner, new primary care, Christopher Lugo and his medical team will hook you up, BAMMC.com. You can hear him every Monday at 11:45 as we talk about wellness and major injuries in the sporting world. And it's always fun to check in with Chris on our Monday visit. So if you're looking for a new doctor or any of those things I mentioned, Bay Area Modern Medical Center, BAMMC.com. All right, well, Tiger has already teed off this morning after shooting a 2-under 70 yesterday, 69, which is good enough for T27. Rolled in a birdie putt on the 18th there at Riviera. Was just an absolute beautiful, about a 20, 25 footer curling into the cup, and the place went wild. It was like old Tiger mania. It was really cool energy. You could just tell, there was a smile on Tiger's face. He was like, you know what? I miss this.
Yep.
I miss this. And I was like, you know what, Tiger? I miss it too. And he made some incredible shots yesterday, playing with Justin Thomas and Rory McIlroy, and equaled the two of them for the most part. I think Rory shot 3 under. So they were all right about the same.
Rory
number.
was 4, Thomas was 3, and Woods was 2.
Yeah, not too bad. I mean, the best in the game, Tiger Woods is keeping up with them. That to me was a bit of a surprise. After what I saw at the Open in July, I was very, very disappointed, and I concerned because that set up for him very, very well, and it just wasn't there. But yesterday, it was there. He hit some brilliant shots.
Yeah, especially at the end. I mean, as he said it in his words, he felt like he needed to turn it on when I think he was at even at one point, or he might have been over, I think at one point, right? Because he finished with the 3 birdies in a row. So he still has it in his arsenal. When he has to get it going, he has to get it going. I mean, the driver, to me, I think he outdrove the guys a few times, and
he really did.
To me, that was the moment of the tournament so far, was the passing of the tampon to Justin Thomas walking down number 9, ever so nonchalantly slips it in. Not a reaction on his face at all. Like, here you go, JT, take that. I love it. I love
I'm
it.
surprised the PC people just didn't roast him on Twitter for that. What do you mean by that?
Any of that.
Yeah.
No,
but
I
good
love
for him.
And I love that Tiger's at this point, because, like, I feel like 10 years ago, 15 years ago, Tiger, not in a million years would he ever let him do something like that in the middle of a competitive golf tournament.
No.
I think he even said yesterday he didn't really take in the crowd as much because he was really nervous and he wanted to make sure he was focused. And I saw that, but it sounds like he's going to try to take it in a little bit more these next 3 days. But it's a good moment to see him kind of lighten up a little bit.
Yeah, I thought he was walking much better without a noticeable limp as he was at the Open. So I think, and his club head speed is there. He's just pounding the golf ball. I think his short game is not what it has been in the past. There was he had a couple of opportunities on a couple of the par 5s to really even knock it in tight, and he didn't.
Even early on today, he's already missed a 5-foot birdie putt on 11. So, but he started out here. So far, he's 2 holes in. They started on the back 9. So on 10 and 11, he parred both. And it looks like they're on 12. He had a major 4 right on his tee shot off 12. So,
but all in all, that was really fun to see. And if he can stay stay in touch with the leaderboard and just be there on Sunday, that's going to be awesome.
It's always going to be cool.
But I can tell you this, John Rahm is here. Is here to stay.
Golly, man.
This dude is not going away anywhere. Max Homa, by the way, look at what he's doing. 7 under par, and he's just winning everything. And there's so many good players out there right now.
Yeah,
it's tough to if you don't shoot a career round every day, you're just not even in contention. It's hard out there.
It is. And you mentioned John Rahm. I feel like I've watched the last 5 golf tournaments. I've tuned in like casually, and every time I look at the leaderboard, oh, look, John Rahm's number 1.
Yeah.
Like, he's just off to one of those like Scotty Scheffler type hot starts. And I think he's probably going to be the favorite when we get closer to the Masters, which is coming, by the way.
Yep.
But right now, and Rahm's one of those guys that I always felt like he was always ranked like in the top 3 in the world. And I was like, but he doesn't win enough. And now all of a sudden he's reeling off the wins. He's got 4 wins since 2021. He looks like he's going towards a 5th potentially. I think he might be the best golfer in the world right now.
I think he might be. I don't think there's any question about that. Do you have the DeMar Hamlin sound before we get to Rick Hatcher? Do we have time to do that?
Yep.
So this was on. This is DeMar, obviously the Buffalo Bills player who died on the field and was resuscitated twice with cardiac arrest. And we've never heard what the cause of the cardiac arrest is, which is very weird, especially when it happens in such a public venue. We always seem to get the answers on what happened, why it happened, because then we can always make adjustments and people can, figure out what they need to look out for, what's happening. This is why we do autopsies, right? To save other people. And obviously we didn't need an autopsy in this situation, but with all the diagnostic equipment, you'd think they would know what was happening with DeMar. So this was his interview with Mike Strahan. Good Morning America. Interesting. Very, very interesting. And obviously there was an overtone here with all the players and across the world, soccer players, athletes everywhere, young athletes having cardiac issues post-vaccine. It's an issue. Nobody wants to talk about it. And for him not to want to talk about it is just creates more questions for everyone. And the only reason we talk about it, we're not trying to be anti-vax or any of that stuff, is that obviously a lot of parents have kids out there playing football that have had the vaccine. There's a lot of myocarditis issues. This is fact now. The numbers are in, especially with young athletes. So to get to the bottom of what happened in the most public situation here is absolutely paramount for parents and other athletes along the way. Everybody wants to know. And not putting it on Damar Hamlin, but this is an unprecedented situation. I've never heard an athlete in this situation say that's something we want to stay away from. That just brings up an absolute avalanche of questions and controversy. Let's just be honest. And there needs to be some answers. There really needs to be some answers in a lot of different ways, because there's a lot of kids and a lot of NFL players that have taken the vaccine and younger kids that have taken it that are playing sports. We need to know. We need to know what the risks are. And that answer is troubling, to say the very least. All right, we'll take a quick break. When we come back, Rick Hatcher will join us from the Florida Sports Hall of Fame, former FSU MLB pitcher. We will chat with him about a great event that they have coming up. If you like bourbon and baseball and cigars, you will love this. So stay with us. Quick break. Hey, folks, it's still engagement season, and where better to get that special ring than the Gold and Diamond Source? The Gold and Diamond Source has the largest selection of engagement rings in the country, a literal jewelry supercenter with 30 times the inventory of any normal jeweler. You don't have to wait to spend any extra time waiting for them to bring something in. They have everything right there in-house, so why go anywhere else? And you can get up to 15% off this January if you buy something with the birthstone, which is garnet. Garnet and gold, Florida State, get something for your favorite Seminole. And let's not forget the Emily collection from Emily Johnson Weintraub. Very affordable, real gold and diamond jewelry, always stylish and unique. Emily has created this fashion-forward gold diamond.
An insurance adjuster who needs proof of injury. Hi, I'm Rachel D'Antonio from Tampa Bay's premier private investigation agency, Emerging Investigation. We have a proven track record of results. Local attorneys and insurance companies hire us to discover insurance fraud and crucial information in criminal cases. We can help in custody matters, and we devote a tremendous state-of-the-art technology and cutting-edge industry surveillance techniques to get you trusted results. Larger corporate agencies can be more expensive and do not offer the personal level of customer service and interaction that we pride ourselves on. We are a family-owned business. Our professional experience team includes my son, Zach D, former collegiate athlete, and my daughter Emily, who leads our in-house investigations team. Don't take matters into your own hands by trying to install snooping programs on phones or GPS trackers. That can cause unneeded stress and give you inaccurate results. Go with the professionals at Emerging Investigations. We have proven results and tremendous testimonials from our satisfied customers. Call for a free consultation and we can discuss how we can help. Peace of mind is as valuable as bad news. Just go to our website, emerginginv.com, or call 813-291-FACT. That's emerginginv.com. We're Emerging Investigations. We get results in life's biggest matters.
PGA Tour's Valspar Championship returns this March 16th to the 19th with 4 days of golf action plus the host of fun activities that make it Tampa Bay's hottest sports ticket. Sam Burns, who won in a thrilling playoff last year, is looking to make it 3 wins in a row on the Copperhead course at Innisbrook Resort. He will be challenged by a top field Jordan Spieth, running for the first time in 5 years. 13 PGA Tour victories, including 3 in his career. It will be a quick field and great fun. On sale now at ValsparChampionship.com for all tournament days, both ground tickets and premium ticket options. You don't want to miss the 2023 Valspar Championship.
Attention, if you are home shopping or looking for a refinance, and even if you already have the approval letter, you must call my man Scott Fitzgerald at American Mortgage Services. Scott has a brand new program available in the greater Tampa Bay area called the Community Advantage Loan Program. Get this, no money down, no mortgage insurance, no points, no origination fee, purchase or refinance, and loan amounts up to $647,000. Now, there are some application requirements. It must be a single-family home, 1 unit, primary residence, and have a minimum 640 credit score. The program only applies to certain neighborhoods, so you have to call to find out if you qualify. So call Scott Fitzgerald at 813-294-7595 or email him at scott@amstampa.com. Now, even if you don't qualify for that program, Scott will shop your loan around, get you the best rates, and won't charge you the huge upfront fees. And if you've had issues with your bank calling you back, Scott will return calls immediately or at least the same day. 813-294-7595 or email him, scott@amstampa.com. Scott Fitzgerald, MLS 386722, American Mortgage Services, 1000 North Ashley Drive, Suite 1020, Tampa, Florida.
Ladies and gentlemen, let's rock.
This is FanStream Sports with JP.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show. We're going to talk a little baseball here with Rick Hatcher, the president of the Florida Sports Hall of Fame. And also got a great event coming up. Baseball's a little feedback there, Rick.
Can you hear me okay?
It's a little fuzzy. You hear me?
Yes, I do.
All right, we're getting a little bit of feedback, but we'll try to move forward with it. So tell me, you got a great event coming up, the second annual Bourbon, Baseball, and Cigars, or something in that. Catch me up on it. It was a big success last year. I know a lot of people are interested in this year. So what's going on?
Well, again, we're working in conjunction with the Tampa Baseball Museum and having the second annual Baseball, Bourbon, and Cigar event that's going to take place in downtown next to the museum in Ybor City. We're excited about this. It was a great turnout last year. It's a great way to, recognize the importance of what baseball means to the state of Florida, particularly in the Tampa area with all the major league teams that are in spring training. They'll just be wrapping up, going into their last full weekend of spring training in the Grapefruit League.
So tell me, the event itself is down in Ybor City, and what you guys are going to do, talk some baseball, drink some bourbon, smoke some cigars. Can't think of a better place to do that than Ybor City.
Well, yeah, and again, it's a great partnership. We last year, and again, back for this year, we will have Dave Wills, the voice for the Rays on the radio. He'll be our MC. Last year, we had Wade Boggs, Lou Piniella, that was a highlighter. The Tampa-based players over there. We had an additional 15 former major league players that were there that's from the Tampa area. We have not announced who our headliner is going to be yet, and working with several people. We know that we would like to be able to have Tampa's finest that's there. The Crime Dog just went into the Major League Hall of Fame. He's a member of Florida Sports Hall of Fame. We're working to see if he can work through some commitments, but we're also in discussions with some other major league players that are called Tampa home and has always been home. So it's a great evening, silent auction, live auction. Everybody get a gift in there that's going to be a cigar. You're going to have cutters. You're going to have lighters. You're going to have torches. You're going to have music. That whole Ybor City feel, along with the cigars, and what better place to have it than right there at the Tampa Baseball Museum, next to the area that's down there.
Yeah, it's fantastic. I'm looking forward to hanging out and doing all that good stuff there. And if you like talking baseball, as I think you told me, and a couple others did too. I think it was Lou. You mentioned Lou Piniella and some of the guys. I mean, it just turned into it's just the greatest stories you've ever heard. Stuff they can't talk about on the radio, stuff they can't talk about on TV. It's just a bunch of guys getting together And I don't know, if you're a baseball fan, that sounds like a pretty good night to me. That's what we're in for, right?
Well, again, I'm a baseball guy. I'm a baseball background, like you, Seminole, Florida State days, and it's just watching and looking and being around your idols that you remember watching that play there. Listen to the stories between Wade and Lou and Dave trying to navigate between one story to the next story. Wade will tell one and Lou's got another story. And before you know it, 30 minutes have passed and it feels like it's only 5 minutes. And it was almost like a reunion of all the former major league players just got there. They come in and it's really turned into, we've added some new players that's going to be part of it. That was last year. I mean, last night you had the governor's dinner that was in Dunedin to kick off the spring training season. Saw Wade that was there.
Yeah.
You had Louis Tiant that was there last night. So you've got a great recognition of what baseball means to the Tampa area. And we're just glad to be part of it.
Yeah, no doubt. And Rick, as a former pitcher yourself, I wonder what your thoughts are on all the changes coming up in baseball this year. If you can keep up with them, the getting rid of the shift, I think, number one, how does that sit with pitchers? Or do you think it's just better for baseball in general?
I'm old school. I mean, if the original rules allowed you to put 8 people on the one side of second base, the hitters got to learn to hit the other way. I mean, that's just me. I know it's a lot of everything they're doing is for fan interaction, keep the fan base that's tied into it. Safety, with the larger bases where fewer collisions that's there. Time clock, I think it's always a good thing.
Yeah.
Anytime you can speed up, limit the number of visits, limit the number of pitching changes you can do. Pitchers got to see a certain amount of hitters. I think there's certain elements that are good. And Commissioner Manfred, who was in Dunedin last night, referenced some of that for, to speed up the game, make the game a little bit more integral for the fans and everything. But it still comes down to me being a pitcher.
Yeah.
You got those strikes, you got to play defense, and the hitters, they've got to put the ball in play, and you've got to score runs and or not score runs. Depends on the team you're talking about.
And for a pitcher, does that pitch clock bother you? Some pitchers say it's not safe. I'm not ready to throw the ball. What should they be able to do it? I mean, other athletes, football teams have to get together in 40 seconds. 11 guys got to run a play together. You think one guy could figure out how to throw a ball in 30 seconds?
100%. I think the pitch clock is probably one of the best ideas that they've come along. When I was a pitcher, I worked fast. I got the ball, got the signal, and got back in there. I mean, if 10 seconds went by, it messed up my rhythm.
Right.
Now, what you'll see is, the hitters will start messing with some of that. And that's what some of the pitchers started doing is backing off, restarting.
Right.
And then it's a game of cat and mouse between the hitter and pitcher.
Nobody wants to see that.
Step off. So it eliminates a lot of that.
And keep the players in the box. Let's go. Let's play baseball. I think it's a good thing. And also, I would say this too: the pitching has just become incredibly good. I mean, do you marvel at what you're seeing in terms of the speed, the velocity, the control, the stuff that these guys have, the spin rates? Talking to Matt Joyce and Dave Magadan in the past few months, and they're just like, hitting today is as hard as it's ever been. I mean, we got to give the hitters a little bit of a break. I don't know if you see it that way.
Yeah. To see the progression of the game itself, you're seeing balls being hit further, and you're seeing, the sweet spot. It's still, to me, hitting a baseball is the toughest thing in sports when you got about the size of a dime for a sweet spot on the bat and a ball there, but you still got guys that can do it. The spin rate, the pitchers. I was watching a high school game the other night and watching an IMG pitcher, high school kid, left-hander, is going to be a top 3 pick. He was 97, 98 as a high school. And so you can see where the game has moved into. I'm still one of these guys where, good pitching will get good hitting out. And good hitting will always beat bad pitching. And so I think that's part of the game itself. But the evolution of the game, the evolution of pitching, now they're teaching, changing the swing path for the hitters to create that launch angle. You talk to the guys. I was talking to Cito Gaston last night there, and he was just talking about the whole version of hitting has changed completely, as the same way as the pitchers approaching the game as well. You don't have a 9-inning complete game anymore. Those are few and far between. Pitchers are specialized now, so it changes the game.
Yep, no doubt. I don't know if it's better or worse, but it definitely changes the game. All right, Rick, once again, it's March 23rd, right?
Correct.
March 23rd, 6:30 to 9:30 at the Garden of Ybor City Museum State Park, right next to the museum there. Tickets are, $125 and $200 for two. And you can go to Florida FLA Sports HOF.org. That's FLA Sports HOF.org to get your tickets. Did I get all that right?
I believe you did. Great job.
Good. All right. Well, look forward to seeing you there. It's going to be fun. And thanks for coming on.
Well, I appreciate the time and the support that you always give the Florida Sports Hall of Fame.
Love it, man. And thank you so much for allowing me to MC this year's event. It was one of the highlights of my career. It was a great night. So thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Great job.
Thanks. All right, there's Rick Hatcher, and that's going to be an event. It will sell out, by the way. So go to Florida FLA Sports HOF.org, right there in Ybor City. Bourbon, baseball, bourbon, and cigars is the correct name of the event. So get your tickets now. All right, we'll take a quick break, and when we come back, Paul Wilson's going to join us, our entertainment reporter, actor, superstar himself, will join us with a review of Quantumania, the Ant-Man movie. So we'll do that, and we got some other issues to get to the rest of the way. We'll talk some Lightning. Is Cal Foote on the trading block, and is that a good idea for the Lightning? Stay with us. Quick break. Was your car totaled in an accident? Did your insurance company use Kelley Blue Book or NADA to appraise the value of your car? Chances are they didn't, and you got shorted maybe thousands of dollars. Call the Jeeves Law Group for a free case evaluation because your insurance company may still owe you money. 727-894-2929. It's a free call, so why not find out if you have a case? Insurance companies have been running this scam for a while, and most folks don't know if they've been shorted. Trust me. Scott Jeeves is a different kind of attorney, the kind insurance companies hate to go up against. He could recover thousands of dollars, so why not call 727-894-2929 or go to JeevesLawGroup.com. That's JEEVES lawgroup.com and tell them JP sent you.
JP here for Emerging Investigations, Tampa Bay's premier investigation agency. Do you suspect your spouse is cheating or involved in a divorce, that your spouse is hiding money, an ex-employee or current employee with suspicious behavior? Is there a criminal matter you need help with? If you need information you can count on, using the professionals at Emerging Investigations is a slam dunk. Emerging Investigations is a licensed and insured private investigation agency, family-owned. Emerging is your ideal resource to secure evidence and validation, allowing you to make informed decisions in life's biggest matters. Led by industry executive Brian D'Antonio, Emerging possesses the experience and resources to get needed results. Emerging Investigations maintains an excellent reputation as a premier investigation agency. They are known for results. You're not just hiring a PI, but an organized, dedicated team using state-of-the-art technology. Their proven investigative methods produce crucial information used in criminal cases, insurance fraud, and personal injury claims. Many local attorneys, industry agencies, and your concerned neighbors all count on Emerging Investigations. Just go to their website, emerginginv.com, or call 813-291-FACT. That's 813-291-FACT-3228. Get results you can trust in life's biggest matters. Emerging Investigations.
Well, it's that time of year to renew or shop your health insurance provider, and you can get great health insurance for $20, $30, $50 a month. Just call 888-325-0605 to help navigate the health insurance marketplace. 1 out of 3 people in Florida are uncovered because they think they can't afford it. Not true. I made the call a couple of years ago, and they helped me get Blue Cross Blue Shield coverage, Florida Blue, for just $20 a month. Last year, it went up to $49. Oh, well. It all depends on your income and your family situation. It's a free call, 888-325-0605. They will ask for some income information. So if you have your tax returns available, that will be great, but you don't need it. They'll just answer some simple questions, and the highly trained reps will do the work for you to find out what your subsidy will be. 888-325-0605. And if you have a plan through your employer, you may be able to get it cheaper. It's a free call, so find out, folks. This has been a lifesaver for me and saved me thousands of dollars over the last few years, and you can choose your plan. It's a no-brainer. Find out. Make the free call. 888-325-0605. Get covered like me and thousands of others. 888-325-0605. The PGA Tour's Valspar Championship returns this March 16th to the 19th with 4 days of golf action plus a host of fun activities that make it Tampa Bay's hottest spring sports ticket. Sam Burns, who won in a thrilling playoff last year, is looking to make it 3 wins in a row on the Copperhead course at Innisbrook Resort. He will be challenged by a top field that includes Jordan Spieth, returning for the first time in 5 years. The 2015 Valspar champ counts 13 PGA Tour victories, including 3 majors in his career. It will be a great field and great fun. Tickets are on sale now at ValsparChampionship.com for all tournament days, both grounds tickets and premium ticket options. You don't want to miss the 2023 Valspar Championship.
JP here for Italiano Insurance. If you've started a side hustle during COVID and the business has grown, well, you need business insurance, because if you get sued, you could lose all your personal wealth if you're not properly protected. That's right. Your home, your savings, everything could go. So get protected now. Call the great agents at Italiano Insurance, 813-877-7799, and a real human will answer the phone and get you protected. If you haven't shopped your business insurance in a while, you could be overpaying by thousands. One customer had their golf buddy handling his business insurance, then called Italiano to shop it around, and they saved him $26,000 a year. Yeah. So call 813-877-7799 or go to ItalianoInsurance.com. Italiano Insurance, protecting all the pieces of your life for over 60 years.
Let's go. Right now, back to the show with JP on FanStream Sports.
All right, welcome back to the JP Peterson Show, brought to you by the Jeeves Law Group and the Valspar Championship. It's coming up March 16th through the 19th. Jordan Spieth's going to be there. Sam Burns defending his title. Got the rooftop, which is a new premium area you got to get to. All those premium tickets will sell out, so go to ValsparChampionship.com and get your tickets now. It is going to be a social event for the ages. Darius Rucker on Saturday night after play at their country concert. So come on down to the Valspar Championship. And speaking of entertainment, our good friend Paul Wilson joins us now, media mogul. What's up, partner? Now we get to see you in your beautiful, handsome office there. What's going on, my friend?
Throwback.
Oh, very nice.
There you go.
Yeah.
You know,
Michael Jackson.
And you know who recorded on this to keep the theme with the Wilsons? Edward Van Halen. Okay, back to you.
Really? Oh,
yeah.
He was.
Yeah, beat it. He gave him the solo. He gave him the solo. Charged him nothing. How about that?
That might have been a mistake. I don't know.
No, he did, and even Eddie loved just giving it to him because he'd been playing that solo. Rumor has it for years and didn't know what to do with it, and Dave didn't like it, so all of a sudden it was like, this is perfect for Michael Jackson.
Beat it.
Yep.
How about that? See the things I learned here from Paul Wilson. Amazing. So all right, so you got to see Quantumania last night. My man Nick saw it too, so we have dueling reviews.
Oh, and guess where we're gonna go, Nick? All right, what Star Wars movie did it remind you of?
I love this.
Paul, I have seen one Star Wars in my life. One. Okay. And it was a recent one, and I did not like it. Rise of the Skywalker, I think it was.
Rise of Skywalker.
There you go. I will tell you this. All the friends I was around me, they were talking about how this reminded them of Star Wars.
I mean, I think so. It had, and I'll go back to there's episode 4, which was the first one the world got to see, and that famous Cantina band where you have all those aliens, and all those creatures in there cocktailing and having fun, and then of course they get in the fight.
Great.
To me, this was like almost a 2-hour Cantina band set in the Marvel universe. I thought it was completely fun. wildly visual. And I think if you're one who likes all these crazy visuals, it's visual vomit. I mean, it is all over the screen. But I thought in keeping with, for me, in keeping with the general sense of, the setting up the next phase of Marvel, I find it interesting too that we're seeing DC and Marvel kind of create the multiverse and time travel and, different worlds and different characters. But I like that it was fun. It was a little bit, it kind of started out hot and kind of slowed down. I love seeing my buddy Michelle Pfeiffer, be a badass. That was great.
Ooh.
What'd you think?
I will say, I did not enjoy the first, Ant-Man. I wasn't really a fan of as a standalone. Same thing with Ant-Man and Wasp. I just never bought that as a standalone, character strong enough. I thought this one was way better than those two, which is shocking because I know the reviews for this movie have not been really favorable so far. But
coming off the heels of Wakanda, and I think that's such a heavy tone considering the death of Chadwick Boseman. This is kind of the return. First of all, I think we're seeing the beginning of the summer blockbuster season right here.
Yeah.
In not even March right now, right? But I think you're right. And can you name the first Avengers?
The first Avengers?
First Avengers as the comic book, as Jack Kirby and Stan Lee created the Avengers. Who were the first Avengers?
I'm going to take it that they're different than the ones that I recall from the movies.
Well, I'm not going to lead the witness, brother. You got to tell me.
I don't know. Iron Man, Captain America, Thor.
Okay. Yeah, you got two right. Iron Man, Thor. Who's the green one? Hulk. And there's two more. Ant-Man and Wasp.
Ant-Man and Wasp. Those are the original
Avengers.
Wow.
Yes, but they're played by Michael Douglas and then Michelle Pfeiffer, right? It's Hank Pym. And then in the first Ant-Man, and we see because in the comic books, they killed off Hank Pym, right? So then they had to go, now what do we do with our property? Because it's property and it's an intellectual property, which means money, right? Well, there's a guy named Bob Layton who you should have on the show who lives in Bradenton, right here in Tampa.
Okay.
And he created the Ant-Man character Paul Rudd plays that we see today. He created it over there in Tampa. How about that? Always bring it home, baby. Always bring it home.
Always been so much talent here in this area.
That's right.
So me, I'm not a big Marvel, the superhero fan, but I'll go see it because, the visual vomit. I enjoy the big screen and all that. Plus we got to do something with the kids this weekend. So it's like a must do, right? Can the kids watch this one? Unlike the last Thor movie that was wildly not for kids.
I think, not little kids. I think any
7 to 10.
Well, they may miss the jokes. There's a lot of fun in there.
Okay.
There's I don't know. What do you think, Nick? I think it's teens.
Yeah. I think if I was 10 years old, I feel like you can go watch the movie. There's nothing raunchy in there. The only part that I was
Thor
thinking
was
of,
raunchy.
I'm trying
sexual stuff.
I don't want to give away. I don't want to give away the scene, and I don't really know if the innuendo was there. But the slime guy when he was talking about the holes and everything, that's the only part that I can.
Well, if it's innuendo and it goes over the little kid's head, that's fine. And Thor was a little bit more in your face.
Yeah, this one wasn't in your face. I feel like the comedy was typical Marvel comedy, it'll give you a little crack, haha,
Okay.
Nothing super over the top. Thor Love and Thunder took it to a whole nother level, probably way too much. I thought this was a nice happy medium.
Okay.
Well, and you remember that these, Stan Lee and Jack Kirby created these characters and in the comic books, of course, as the source, as just a soap opera. You think about Marvel's characters are set in New York City. Right?
Yeah.
DC characters are set in a fictional place called Gotham. So they wanted to create a more or less a human connection to the world, but it's really just, Ant-Man's about a broke down dad who's got to help, become a better father. That's the short strokes of it, right?
Yeah.
So
and I'll say too, in general, also that is so intriguing about this Marvel series is I'm looking at everything post Endgame, right? Because it's a new universe. I love the villains of every movie we've seen. Even though I didn't really care for Thor Love and Thunder because it was too comedic, I love Gore the villain. I wish we could see more of Gore. I loved when we had Doctor Strange. I loved seeing Scarlet Witch as the villain. I loved that. And then in this one, Kang, I thought was fantastic. And it sounds like he's going to be like a centerpiece going forward as one of the main villains. I think they have found, like, obviously nothing's going to top Thanos, but I think they've done really well with the villains here in this second part of Marvel.
You're right. Now, this guy, Kang, will make Thanos look like a kindergartner. In the comic books, Thanos was nothing compared to Kang, because Kang could create multiple versions of him. One version, as we saw, without giving it away, was a pharaoh who ruled Egypt.
Yeah.
So, yeah, this guy's going to be, and I think they did a great job casting him. And I think we'll see him for the next 10 years.
And the connections, too, to, like, Loki, because I feel like some of those, the Disney series sometimes have felt like they're like their own little entities. This finally, like, you're starting to see these kind of carry over into the big movies. So there's like these threads now that I've been kind of looking for.
Well, that's speaking of Loki, that time group that he worked for.
Yeah.
Guess who runs it? Kang. So we'll see that come back to that.
Yeah. All right. Well, I'll look forward to seeing it this weekend. All right. So I
got another one. I got to talk about.
Okay.
Just because it's crazy.
Okay.
We got a bunch of movies coming up. There's one that you got to see that I think is next week. Cocaine Bear. You heard about this?
Of course. Yes.
You know, it's a true story.
Is it really?
Yes. So 1985 in Kentucky, a guy named Thornton, who was a pilot who was smuggling cocaine, and he had too much of it. So the plane started to kind of go down. So he jumped out. His parachute didn't open. He died. All the cocaine fell between, all over the forest. And the real story about a 200-pound bear, black bear, started eating the cocaine and was found like 3 months later in the forest in Georgia with 20 open containers empty of cocaine. The bear was stuffed. Taxidermists took care of the bear, and it's now on display in Lexington, Kentucky.
Oh my God!
That's the true story it's based on. So it's wild. And in this one, they make it a 500-pound black bear, and he just terrorizes tourists in the town, and it's just jaws with fur.
Yeah,
and cocaine.
Yeah, and what was really wild is all the hookers that were following him too, which is crazy.
Hey,
well, I guess that happens.
I need a sound effect there.
So, all right, I saw a movie the other day that took me back. It was some of the greatest acting, comedic acting, some of the greatest scripting. I just laughed for 2 hours. It was, it had a few woke themes in there I didn't love, but whatever. It made me, you have to laugh at yourself too. And it was You People with Jonah Hill, Lauren London, Eddie Murphy was fantastic. Julia Louis-Dreyfus. So many cameos in it. It was absolute. David Duchovny.
Yeah.
It was incredible. Have you seen it?
I have. I thought it was a lot of fun. It was kind of, I wanted to kind of look away at times,
Why?
Because it's just like, ooh, he just said that.
But I love that.
I know, and I think what's important about that, and I think Eddie Murphy would say it too.
Yes,
and Jonah Hill. Look, it's time to get over this.
Yes,
let's just
have
fun.
Everybody. It makes fun of white people, black people, brown people.
Yes,
everybody.
I think
you have to laugh at it.
I think that's probably the best takeaway, aside from it being entertaining. I think it's time to get past all this. Come on, stop. Just calm down. Let's just have fun. And by the way, it's a movie. It's all fake.
Yeah,
right.
We can laugh at each other. We can have jokes. Don't take it so freaking seriously.
I'm glad you brought that up, because I was like, there was like probably 10 movie previews, I think, last night. I don't know about you when you saw it, and I was like telling my friends, I'm like, where is the comedy movies?
Can't make them.
There's no comedies. Everything is like super like sci-fi and like all these things. Like, there was the one with like what was it? Like Indiana Jones remakes and all these things. I'm like, where are the comedies? Like, I just don't understand why we can't have one anymore.
Well, how has this been received in Hollywood? Are we going to make more movies like this? Are people going to be bold enough to make more movies like this? Because it strikes me that a lot of the great people in this movie are old heads. It's the return of Eddie Murphy, for God's sakes, who's amazing. Julia Louis-Dreyfus. It's
comedic genius. Yeah.
Yes. Are we going to see more movies like this, or did it piss too many people off?
No, I think we'll see more like it, but I don't think we'll see it in the theaters yet. I think the real problem is it's economics. I mean, you've got Amazon and you've got Netflix spending. I mean, remember, Netflix has a huge deal. I mean, they kind of broke the bank early on with a guy named Adam Sandler and his whole string of crazy fun comedies. They've got a huge deal with Eddie Murphy. I mean, look at like we talked about 2 weeks ago. Look at, you got Harrison Ford, Helen Mirren, Sly Stallone, all going to TV.
Yep.
So that's right where I think we're going to see some kind of, and the fun part about that movie, you people, is I think that a lot of people can watch it privately. And so I think that's where you're going to see raunchy comedies for a while at least.
God, well, I hope that it's having great success. It's been number one for a long time, for a few weeks now. So it's having great success. And we know if it makes money, maybe that'll finally get people over all this and we can start having fun again. So we'll see. 1923, by the way, Ashley and I love that. We're waiting for it to come out each and every Sunday. The Yellowstone franchise just gets better and better and better. Fantastic. Thank you for recommending that.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's, that's the future of, I think, episodic TV. Again, that's your soap opera, basically set in the Old West. But you see such a great migration of these just fantastic actors and all your favorite stars, coming right to a television, right, to a living room near you.
Yeah. And speaking of Yellowstone, I'm not sure if all this stuff is like confirmed, reported, but there's been all this speculation, rumors, whatever, that Kevin Costner might be on his way out of Yellowstone, and they're adding Matthew McConaughey in here. And to play a role at least till the next 3 seasons, which I think is what they want to do. I mean, what do you kind of think about that? Would he fit in that show, you think?
Sure. I think he could be a 35, 40-year-old version of John Dutton. And that's the rumor that's where they're going to go, that Yellowstone's going to end in a big bang. And that's the end. Because all those actors, that is hard work. Having done some episodic television or serialized programming, it wears you out. I mean, when you shoot a movie, generally speaking, unless it's, you're in tights and shiny boots, you're in and out in 30 days. When you're shooting Yellowstone, that's a week for probably 10 minutes in one episode. It is a constant slog. I mean, they used to say it all the time, some of the best actors there are, maybe not necessarily people you would call the best actors, are soap opera actors, because they have to remember so many lines and they have to stay in their character for so long.
Yeah.
And I think that's, Stallone, he's basically said, "Oh, this is so difficult. I can't do this again." Now I think they're going to dangle a little bit of cash and go, "Dude, come on." But, he wants to go back and make movies. And I think Kevin Costner does too. I mean, he's got a couple planned.
Right. Yeah, and that makes sense. So we're gonna, these things aren't going to go on forever. So love them while they're there, but there's more good stuff churning out. All right, quickly, anything else out there that we need to go see, watch, coming to theaters near you?
You got Dave Bautista, another Tampa buddy, in Knock at the Cabin that's out right now.
Oh, I saw the previews to that. It's very, very disturbing. I'm not sure I want to see it.
M. Night Shyamalan. So it's not going to be violent, in that sense. Not like Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey.
What?
I was just looking at that. Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey.
What the hell is that?
Okay, so quickly, that one is it's a live action, right? And Christopher Robin, his little friend Pooh Bear, and his little friend Piglet, he leaves them, and they have to go through the forest on their own.
No.
Yeah. In this iteration, they get pissed and then they go on a bloody rampage looking for food. So it's every horror movie trope from Michael Myers to Leatherface. And there's a lot of talk that Winnie the Pooh kind of reminds you of Leatherface, but Pooh Bear. So it's a gore fest. Crazy. That movie opens, I think it's open now or opens next week.
In theaters?
Yeah. Oh yeah, no, it's open now. It's open now.
Don't take the kids.
No, I wouldn't even take my dog. Definitely not my dog.
I can't. We can make that, but we can't make comedies. Oh my God! All right.
Hey, that's economics. Horror in theaters.
Yeah. What else? Anything else out there?
Magic Mike's Last Dance. Another guy who's got a Tampa connection.
Yeah.
That's made about 20. That opened last week. That's made about $22 million. So it's not great, but there's that's aimed at an female adult, you know, 35, 40, 64. They're not going to the theaters right now in droves like, you know, the 18 plusers that want to see Winnie the Pooh slash people.
Ridiculous.
Yes, ridiculous.
What big blockbusters are coming out this summer to look
All
at?
right. Well, I'll start with one that I think is going to be a lot of fun because today is his birthday, and that is number 23 himself, Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
And Ben Affleck and Matt Damon play the co-founders and marketing people of Nike. So Affleck, and he directed it. So he plays Phil Knight. And so it's all set in the 80s, which is all fun to see, right?
I'm going to love that.
Right? And so then they wake up one day and go, we got to get a deal with him. We need to do a sponsorship deal with him. So it's the whole quest to bag Michael Jordan for Nike. And that's got a lot of fun anticipation.
Yeah. All right. I'll be looking forward to that. All right, partner. Anything else?
John Wick's coming out. Scream 6 is coming out soon. So, I mean, summer's basically here starting next week.
All right, cool. All right. Well, we'll talk to you soon then, my friend. Thank you for all your your two's discussion on superhero movies is just classic. I just sit back and laugh at you two. It's fantastic. You guys are great.
But we'll talk more Star Wars later when he catches up.
I don't think that's happening. All right. Thanks, Paul. Appreciate it.
You guys take care. See ya.
Paul Wilson Media. Oh, God, good stuff. Because, I mean, we need to be distracted from all the crazy. That's the biggest problem with Hollywood right now is, as we talk to the great authors that we talked to, Mike Lubica and James Patterson, who wrote the great book that I'm still reading, is that real world is so much stranger than fiction right now. Like, they can't make up crap that's going to excite you because what's happening in the world is so much weirder and so much worse. I mean, it's just crazy. So, I mean, they're having to go really, really deep to get people interested in stuff on the big screen and the little screen.
It's just crazy. Like I told him, I said there was like 10 movie previews, and I'm like, where are the comedies? They're all gone. Yeah, everything is just very like actiony and all that. And I like actiony, but can I have like a breakup in some of that? And all these things that are so fictiony.
I love comedies.
Oh my goodness!
But comedies are hard to do. And in this space now, they're almost impossible.
Like I can only watch Wedding Crashers so many times.
Exactly.
On
right?
HBO, like I tend to do like every month.
Yeah. I mean, some of the great comedies.
Something new.
But this one, have you seen You People?
I have not seen You People. No.
It's hilarious.
But I've heard conflicting things about it, which is I haven't. Well, I don't know anything about it, but the way you described it, it sounds like it would be conflicting.
Well, it's funny because most of the and with Eddie Murphy being a large part of this and Jonah Hill.
I didn't even know if Eddie Murphy still had a career. I'm being honest with you.
Well, he's coming back, and this was one of his big comebacks as a comedic actor, and he's played such a serious role. But it's funny. It's just so funny. But you have to be in that mindset of don't get offended at the old white guy jokes. Don't get offended at the young white guy jokes. I guess I just don't understand. Get offended at the old black guy jokes.
I just don't understand.
It makes fun of everybody.
All these comedies, and I'm talking about stuff that literally, because to me, like the last like comedy films that I can like remember were like probably like 2015, 2016. To me, that's when they all started kind of to die off. Like I can't recall like a really good comedy since.
Yeah, because
I never thought of it when I was watching it at the time that, oh my goodness, this is very offensive. I just never. It's a movie,
right? But everybody's offended by everything.
It's a movie.
And one of the things that's funny about, I mean, if you go back and look at some of the great old comics, you watch them now. You go watch Richard Pryor and some of his classic stuff. Eddie Murphy, Raw. I mean, they're saying things that you just can't, can't say these days.
It's what makes no sense.
Because
it makes no sense because like I'm a big like Bill Burr fan.
Yeah,
I've watched all his Netflix things. I watch him on YouTube all the time, and he's touring and everything. Like I think as we speak, and I feel like his business is like on the up and up right now.
Yeah.
So how is it like from a comedic standpoint, like stand-up comedy, it's still somewhat working?
Well, because he's bold and he's almost big enough that he can't be canceled. And he is, he approaches it in a very interesting way, and because he offends everybody, and he takes a lot of crap
he allows himself to get joked at too.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
He openly acknowledges it. Like, yeah, I'm a ginger from Boston.
Yeah, but most of the people, most of the older people, if you're over 30, 35 years old, you remember when comedy was comedy, and we can still laugh at those things and not be offended. But so many of the people just, want to be offended. And if that's your mindset, then you're not going to like it. But I would suggest you get out of that space. You're going to die. You got to laugh at yourself. It's part of life, man. You just have to. Hey, I mentioned Cal Foote. He has been playing more and more. I think he's played 3 games in a row right now. And as John Cooper said, He's earned that playing time. But I don't think there's any question that the Lightning are putting him out there. It's because I think that they see themselves as pretty set on the blue line, or if they wanted to bring somebody in, it might be more of a Luke Shen type, somebody that they know. That just seems to me to be the person that they're going to dangle because salary cap constraints and what they are. I don't know what you think, but I will say this: he's played really, really well. He's earned that time.
I was gonna say I've been really impressed with him, and when you're out of the lineup for a while, it's like you got to take advantage of those opportunities you get. I think Nick Paul's little injury that he had allowed him to get in more a little bit, and I think Cooper said there's a reason why I keep kind of going back to him right now. But I mean, these guys know. He knows that he's on the trade block.
Yeah.
He knows he is. And, the NHL trade deadline is really going to get going now this week. We already saw Tarasenko to New York. We're going to see some other moves.
Big move.
So I'm sure the Lightning are going to do
Horvat
something.
to the Islanders.
Horvat to the Islanders. Those two teams are positioning themselves a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I know the Lightning are going to do something.
They will. And only way you can create some cap space is to deal Foot and maybe somebody else. We'll see who that is. But I think I do too. I think there's going to be some moves at the deadline for the Lightning as well. All right. Thanks so much for joining us today and this week. Our thanks to Rick Hatcher and Paul Wilson. We will be back on Monday with more fun and frivolity. And the Lightning have a big game tomorrow at Vegas. And we'll see if we add more to the coaching staff this week for the Buccaneers. And the Rays will start their spring training games next week. So baseball season is here. Have a great day, everybody. Have a great weekend. Talk to you on Monday.